Hi everybody, it's Dave Dunbar from General Pipe Cleaners. We have as our guest today Bill Wheeler. He was our rep in the Florida territory for many years, specifically around the Tampa Bay area. Sold a lot of these, Route 66s. In addition to selling a lot of them, he did a lot of service after the sale. He did a lot of repairs on the jaws and the mechanisms inside in order to help customers out. So there's no better person, in our opinion, to guide you through repairs on a Route 66 than Bill Wheeler. So Bill, if you're talking to a customer, what would they complain about that would lead you to believe that you had to actually expose the jaws or replace the jaws or do some work on a Route 66? What would be happening?
What you would see is when they engage the cable to spin it, it would get sluggish or it would lock up. As far as replacing the jaws, in my experience, I never saw anybody wear out a set of clutches. There are springs and roll pins that are replaceable items, but as far as the hardened steel clutches, you would be pretty hard pressed to wear one of those out. When you could run into a situation where it won't accept the large cable, and we'll go over that as well. But there are two bearings in here that need to be serviced probably once a year. Of course, that depends on the amount of use that the machine gets. What we'll do when we move on here, I'll drop the motor and then start disassembling. Once you have the motor taken off, actually all you will need is a 9/16 wrench or a socket to take the bolts loose, and the motor will drop right out. Okay. At that point, you have the motor machine. It's a bit lighter. Naturally, on the 66, you put your 7/8 cable in, and when you want to spin it, you just push this down. Of course, the 5/8 cable being a smaller diameter, you would just simply move the handle to the back position, and it gives it a longer throw to grab the smaller cable. Very simple, very easy. There are Zert fittings here and here. They do help. Do not get carried away, just a little squirt. But you will have to, about once a year, take this apart and grease these two bearings. Okay? And then at that point, you would turn it on the front like this. A 3/16 Allen key is what you would need to remove the back plate. Now we have removed the 4 screws. The Allen, it's a 3/16, and this slides right off like that. Very simple, and you can see you have a concave piece here that is activated or pushes forward and pinches the jaws like that. See? As you can see in the video, your clutches with the 3 springs and the roll pins inside, I'll show them to you if I get my fingers out of the way, fit inside the roll pins on the other concave piece. When it's pushed together, that squeezes the cable. And these come right out like that. And you can see that you have 1, 2, 3 springs and a roll pin. And they come apart like this. Do not put the springs back in there without the roll pin. Then it has a tendency to move and you could bend that spring. But this is the heart of the Route 66, is the clutch. This is hard to steal. You'd be very hard pressed to wear one of these out. It's been my experience. Every time they said they needed new clutches, I told them, I'll sell you anything you want, but all you need is springs. And I was always right. Okay. This piece comes out. This is a wear item. It does wear out after a while. Very simple. This is a 66-234B is the spring. 66-234C is your roll pin. and that keeps the rigidity in the spring when it's engaged. Once you have this apart sitting on the front, this part slides right out. And you can see you have 1, 2, 3 roll pins here as well. I have seen these occasionally push out. Sometimes people will say it's not grabbing the cable. This would be one of your issues. It's a simple matter of tapping the roll pins right back in. They go right in the side like that. Okay. Here is your one of the 2 bearings that have to be manually greased about once a year. Additionally, over a period of time, with the cable spinning through here, it can flare this a bit and be a little difficult to pull out a socket the same size, tap it right back through the front. And once you've greased this, put grease in it, it slides right back inside like this. When you're going to reinstall the clutches, put your springs in and your roll pins in on 2 of them, like this. Okay, and then slide this on, get your last spring, put it together with your roll pin inside, like that, and then gingerly just slide this back on here, and voila, you have the clutches assembled. The easiest way to get these back in there is to take this plastic piece and set your jaws right back in there like that. At that point, you can set this, adjust it to where it fits in between the 3 corresponding roll pins, and there you go. When you get ready to reassemble, this is the only way, the easiest way to do it. Take your back piece, and you can see this doesn't come out of here like this. It does spin freely. Here, of course, is your other bearing. To remove this, put your handle here, bring this forward enough to where that falls out. Okay, and then you can see this moves. You have a gear down here, that cog that moves the clutch back and forth. Okay, here is your back piece. This, you might need a screwdriver, gets a little suction there, and your bearing comes off here. Here is the other bearing that needs to be manually greased about once a year. Again, that depends on the usage of the machine. I always say once a year. And this, there's no wrong way, right way or wrong way. It's a thrust bearing. It fits either way on there. And your concave piece here. Here is one of the bigger issues that we run into. It's very simple maintenance. Dirt or grease, whatever, will build up in this lip here. It's a simple matter of taking a screwdriver and removing it, as well as in here. Remove the grease. What will happen, it will build up and this piece won't go back all the way, and they say it won't, it's not grabbing the cable, etc., etc. Okay? Now to put this back in, you want to bring this forward. It's a little difficult. And your cogs at the bottom, slide it in, move this forward until that countersinks in here. With the dirt builds up in there, it won't go back all the way, and it won't release the clutch enough to get the large cable in. Once you have this apart, it can be a bear to try and get this back together. This is the easiest way. You take this and capture the 3 pieces of the clutch in this concave piece. Like this. There you go. And you can see that I now have the 3 pieces of the clutch captured. Then you take this part, your back plate, slide it over the top, putting your finger in here to hold it in place and catch your rubber glove in there. And then get one of your screws here, and torque this down, tighten it down to where it will not back off. Bingo. And now you take the other 3 and torque them down. Don't get carried away. Just make it snug them down like that, like that. You don't want to cross thread this. There we go. Ba-doom. And there you go. I would recommend you get a set of the T-handle Allen keys. It's easier to get in and remove these screws. They're very inexpensive. At that point, you would slide your motor back in and continue. Another thing I would like to point out, the motor, if you replace the motor, you have this pinion gear right here, and there are 2 small Allen screws on either side. When you put this motor in, have the back plate off, and then you can see where it fits onto this gear. Use my pointer right here. You don't want it up too high to pressure on that, and you don't want it too loose. When you look down at it, you want about just enough 1/64 inch of a plate in that on there. If you get it too tight, you'll be able to tell because it'll scream like a banshee. Having this bolt at the ready.
Go ahead.
See that thing turn like that? and tighten that up as much as you can. Okay, that's good, Dave. And then just set this up. And snug it up with your 9/16. Oh, it got heavier. With your righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Then I'm doing that right. Yes. Once you have it all reassembled, handle goes in for your 7/8 cable or your 5/8 cable.
Feel free to call the Drain Brains at 800-245-6200 or check out our website, drainbrain.com. Okay? Thanks a lot, and General, toughest tools down the line.